All right, you're welcome along. This Thursday's Off the Ball. Nathan with you until 10 o'clock. Hope you're keeping well. 53106, the text number, at Off the Ball if you want to get in touch on social media. We got a packed show. We're going to be reacting to the disgraceful behaviour of the Atletico Madrid players. Locked them up. John Giles will give his thoughts from 7:30. We'll also talk about it on the football show. When Denise O'Sullivan is going to join us, had a brilliant game for the Republic of Ireland. Didn't get her on the ball as much as they would have liked, but every time they did, she was basically just chopped down by the Swedish players. They're all picking up yellow cards left, right and centre. So we're going to talk to Denise, who is the real outstanding talent, I think, alongside Katie McCabe of Irish football right now. That coming up on the football show. And after 8 o'clock, we're going to talk about the unusual going on at Tyrone, where the All-Ireland champions have lost 7 members of their squad ahead of the start of the defence of their championship, which, in case you didn't know, is happening this Saturday. It's Easter weekend. Happy Holy Thursday, Mick.
Holy Thursday.
Is that where we are?
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Where we are. Stations at the cross tomorrow.
Easter eggs bought?
Easter eggs bought well in advance this year. I don't know what came over me, but I'm like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of myself here.
Well done.
Yeah.
What's the Mick McCarthy favourite?
Oh, I don't know what I have. I'm talking about buying them for
special request
others in my life. No. I wouldn't be worried about that kind of thing.
No, me either.
It has to be
anything.
It has to be a Cadbury one, though.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hashtag Koi Gig.
No. Yes, but also no. It's just personal favourite.
Yes. Absolutely. Don't know where to go with that now. Richie McCormack is with us.
Why did you ask me for that?
I thought you might have had a favourite. I thought you might have had a favourite Easter egg.
What's Richie's?
I do like an old Galaxy Easter egg as well.
Galaxy's good chocolate, isn't it?
Other brands also exist.
They needed to bring out the cream egg with the cream egg inside the big Easter egg.
That's too much. That's too much.
But they could bring a little spoon with it or something as a novelty, and you could scoop it out.
So
that'd kill you. That would literally kill you.
I'm soon to find out, Richie, because I didn't know cream egg, but request, the reason I was so far ahead of myself was because I did order my wife a Skellig's chocolate Easter egg.
Oh, that's fancy.
Solid egg with caramel inside it. Now, it's not very big, but it's quite daunting. I'm scared to see what it's going to be like, because that is insane. You can't have caramel inside an Easter egg. But I'll find out on Sunday.
Stuff. Wow, you've gone all out this year. Well, I presume it wasn't a surprise.
She won't be listening. It's not a surprise, no.
Okay.
It got delivered to the house when I was at work.
Right, disaster. Jeez, special hand-delivered Easter egg.
Hand-delivered by the postman, like.
Wow, this is a wonderful thing. I am across the Duns.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Slip. Richie?
Yeah, it's where did I get mine? Super Value, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all of these are great places just to buy. This was the worst opening segment to a show, which is quite something. It turns out Easter eggs not as exciting as I imagined when I started talking about it.
What's your one?
Well, my wife, I saw it in the boot of the car, was a After Eights Easter egg.
Oh no!
Ooh.
What?
Oh, that's terrible.
Why? I don't care what sort of Easter egg it is.
You just want chocolate.
But I presume the egg is going to be minty, and that's, I think, the key to a good egg. Yeah, I like a couple of the Cadbury's ones, but you want your Easter egg to be a little bit different from just regular egg, because you're going to nick all your kids anyways.
No. Couldn't disagree more.
Regular chocolate.
Regular chocolate all the way. Wow. Turns out
you don't want a big giant minty egg. That's a lot of minty chocolate to get through.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
Do stuff to your mouth.
Text us in with your favourite Easter egg.
What's the biggest Easter egg you've ever got? Come on, let us know.
This is content creation right here.
Wowzers. So, Richie, how shocked and horrified were you by the events on the Wanda Metropolitano last night?
It's terrible, wasn't it? Won't somebody please think of the children? The Helen Lovejoying from Fletch and from Glenhoddle last night was unbelievable. And Rio. It was like the commentary veered on talking about them continentals and the Latin temperament. Like, that's where it was going. It was the kind of commentary that buys the sun on its holidays and eats chips with every meal. Like, it was ridiculous. There was a bit of a flare up towards the end of the game. The stuff in the tunnel.
You're not doing the reverse of what they just did right there with that. What you're saying?
What?
Massive stereotypes of British people on holidays.
They're accurate. They're not stereotypes, really. But no, it was shocking how shocked people were. Because the best thing you want is for people involved in the competition, if you're a supporter of a club, for them to care about whether they win or lose. And last night was the ultimate example of that. Was all of it stuff you want to see repeated? No. The line, this is the stuff we don't want to see, though, is absolute nonsense. You do want to see a bit of this stuff.
I really like flesh.
In moderation,
really like
much like a minty egg. In moderation, it's okay.
There is that, and I'm guilty of doing it myself. When you see something happen on a football pitch that shouldn't happen, it's almost pre-programmed in you that you should say, oof. Like when I was going to say a stalker, a streaker runs onto the pitch. That automatically you feel the need to criticise the streaker.
Yeah.
When in reality,
or call them an idiot. You've no idea what their mental acumen is.
Who cares? Who cares?
Who cares?
But whereas I think automatically Fletch's instant reaction when the scrap started was, nobody wants to see this, and everybody's going, this is the only reason I'm watching. This is exactly why you watch Atletico Madrid. This is the payoff for watching the terrible football that Atletico Madrid play, is the ability for it all to go apeshit.
As Dion Fanning was on with us last night while all this was happening, and it was like describing it as like a game with one shot on target, while the other game on Liverpool had 6 goals. You know, it was so boring all the way through it, and then all of a sudden Atletico started having chances, and then they lost their minds. As soon as they figured out how to break down Manchester City, they decided to self-sabotage. It was incredible entertainment. It was what everybody wanted to see. Fletch, though, finished his commentary. I don't really agree with what he said, but I have to say he delivered it really well when it was like full-time whistle. He goes, and City are through to the next round, blah, blah, blah. And well done, Manchester City. I don't know how you did it. Well done, Man City. It's like when you go into, are we not a little bit past the British TV broadcasters cheering on the British teams?
No.
Are we not? I feel like we should be.
Should we? But it doesn't happen in every country.
Yeah, but we're different.
Why?
Because we're us.
Why? No, but it just felt last night that actually...
Are City a British team anyway? That's what I mean.
They're not, but in so many different ways. But it did feel as though a narrative was created that was far worse than what actually happened. And you could see that in the post-match interviews when they were talking to John Stones. And John Stones almost seemed confused as to what the problem was. It was, we're playing Atletico Madrid away from home. This is what they do. This is what we expected. One of their players was sent off for the incident, so there was a punishment.
A tap on the back of the leg. Like, it was... I really do think it was more self-sabotage than disgraceful. Like, it was this... When Felipe completely lost his mind and wasted 3 minutes of injury time when you're chasing a game, fighting is sending off, and all this messing is happening, and Diego Simeone is in the middle of the pitch, whether he was playing peacemaker or not. It was an insane sight. I don't think it was that, like, oh my God, how are Man City putting up with this? I don't really see where that angle has come from.
You wouldn't want to watch it in every single match.
Not all the time.
Not all of the time, but like it is part of the drama of the knockout stages that Atletico, this is what you get with them. You get the little bit of niggle that builds and builds and builds and eventually just boils over. But everybody's going to move on quite quickly. Like, nobody got seriously hurt. Not even in the tunnel, where, as we all know, when it goes into the tunnel, you can get seriously hurt very quickly. Like, it was just a great thing.
Yeah. It was. We've had a good Champions League week, I would say. I definitely don't know if we need to be...
such a thing as a bad Champions League week?
Yeah,
when it comes to the knockout stages?
Group stages.
When it comes to the
second
knockout
legs
stages?
are fantastic, though, and look, it continues to deliver. And I don't know if we need to spend the Thursday after a brilliant week shaking our fist because of disgraceful scenes.
The away goal, when UEFA made the decision, Richie, to get rid, caused a lot of controversy, and that this was going to have a massively negative effect on the Champions League. It feels as though it's had the reverse effect, because you look at the position that Chelsea were in going into their game at Real Madrid, where if away goals were still in effect, they would have had to score, what, 3?
Yeah.
Where actually going there, they only had to score 2, and it was a much more realistic proposition. So, were UEFA right? I know we're not meant to say
no,
it was right.
It was an example of why it might work, I would say, rather than necessarily... It's an example of the good side of it, of what might ultimately not be a great decision.
53106 is the text number if you were offended. It does feel, you know, when somebody curses on British TV and automatically the apology comes and everyone gives out about the apology, even though I think it's the Ofcom regulations that if there is any bad language, you instantly have to apologise or you're going to be fined. That when there's a scrap on the pitch, you automatically have to apologise almost to the viewers for it. As Owen Sheehan was pointing out, what would Jake Humphries have made of Meath against Mayo in the All-Ireland final? And that scrap.
I don't think you'd have been able to handle it.
I would pay actual money to have Jake Humphries watch that and see what he makes of it. Jake Humphries, of all people, to watch me, the Mayo, or just watch Mick Lyons elbow people in the late 80s, early 90s. Like that's...
Colin Coyle's fist would have to be pixelated.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Much like Jack Grealish's mouth.
Proper order. Proper order. Who's Liam McHale in all this?
The innocent party who gets sent off.
Damn right.
I don't know. Not for me.
I'm glad that's still how you see it, Mick.
No.
Frank and Trim says, real question, will Liverpool or City go on and win the lot now? It's not a very exciting question, I got to be honest with you, Frank. Possibly.
He never claimed it was
there's a good chance of it. Certainly looks like there's a good chance of it.
They have to go and win the FA Cup first. Well,
City weren't that impressive last night is the other thing that it did overshadow that. Like Atletico Madrid should have won that game.
It's actually a huge point, and I was kind of alluding to it earlier. Is like once Atletico really started pressing on them in like the second half, I thought City looked really jittery, and Pep would have his Pep calls, took off Kevin De Bruyne really early in the game.
It seems he might have had an injury.
Does it? Okay, right. It didn't seem so at the time.
But he didn't limp. He didn't hobble off.
But they just looked like Atletico looked like they could cut them open at will. They had some brilliant moves, and then like after all the messing, we forget that they missed a really, really good chance. Like it was a decent save.
It was the Suarez step over ahead of that in injury time, and then there was the final kick of the game. Essentially, that also was an unbelievable chance.
And there was the chance before. There was the chance that Stones blocked as well. That was only a couple of minutes before the riot, as we're calling it. I think officially now. Yeah, those
ugly scenes.
Yeah.
The news round is brought to you with Gillette Labs for an effortless finish to your day. So 53106, the text number. I have had a text in from my own mate in Ballyhonus, Seamus London, saying only one word needed: lint. But I don't want to be demanding.
No.
Like I wouldn't say no to a nice big lint Easter egg. Who would? Mick has a glint in his eye.
Lint is good now, in fairness. That's if you're going to go fancy, I think.
Lint has become a very everyday chocolate, though. Once upon a time, it was a bit posh, wasn't it?
Some people,
but now,
Nathan, are more well off than others, I would say.
I was in a coffee shop earlier, and they were charging 80 cents per little lint ball.
What have we become?
The boom is back.
80 cent a ball.
80 cent a ball. Outrageous.
192 for diesel and 80 cent a Lindor ball.
What next, eh? So, Richie, we're going to get into the news round, would you believe it? The Nations League, there's been a lot of confusion, and actually, it's worked out quite well in that it seems the 4 games are going to be able to take place in June.
Yeah, it's still going to be a busy Nations League. Actually, before that, because I didn't have this in the script, so I'm literally going off script for the moment, but this has just ended. There was a 53-minute media call involving Tyson Fury and Dillian White promoting their heavyweight title contest on April 24th. That has just ended. 53 minutes. It was all online calls conducted via Zoom, it seems, and obviously waiting rooms applied and all that kind of thing. 0 questions about Daniel Kinnan.
Oh, my God.
53 minutes, 0 questions. The likes of Matt Lawton, CFL Rabai, and there are others in there as well who are... Kevin Ioli is another one who was looking to get in, weren't allowed in. No questions in 53 minutes about... Yeah. Mr. K.
Kieran Cunningham, who was on the show on Wednesday night, obviously talking about this whole thing, tweeted this morning or yesterday that he had been looking for accreditation for, I'm not sure if it was the fight or the press conference, and just wasn't getting a reply. You know, so this is obviously the method they're going with. Fair enough.
Just put the head in the sand for the next 10 days, get through this fight, and worry about it then.
I just think, I don't know, I feel like, has the horse not bolted here? Do you not have to address this and come out and, like we heard, Matchroom obviously have had a couple of interviews where there's been questions and there's been a very much a party line of Matchroom obeyed the law in all times and will continue to do so. And I'm not saying any more at this moment. You know, I'm obviously paraphrasing there, but it's along those lines. So, you know, that's what they've gone with here. But I just think that, I don't know. Look, I mean, we're not going to be moralising here, but, you know, you feel like you just owe it to the sport to at least address it in some way. We've gone too far.
It's hardly moralising at this stage either. What? It's hardly moralising at this stage to expect this.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I maybe I'm saying that I shouldn't be expecting, you know, a moral response from the world of boxing. But, you know, I just don't think it's going to go away and have as many defenders, especially on the other side of it, telling us all to shut up as it has done in the past. But look, if they're getting away with 50-odd minute press conferences with no questions about it, with whatever way they've organised it, then they'll probably be happy with that.
You'd expect it won't be the moral side as well that will win out. It'll be the practical side from Tyson Fury and from boxing as to how they respond to this. With the sanctions that are in place.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Is it's almost it has to be responded to now, whether you think whether you think that taking a moral stand is important or not. It's kind of gone beyond it. Yeah.
Why are you normalising Atletico Madrid? For years they have brought the game to disrepute. Simeone and his team are happy to win by cheating.
Because we need different types of teams sometimes.
We don't
actually want them to win anything, but they're good crack along the way.
I'm not convinced that by cheating in football, even diving, I'm never fully convinced it's cheating. It can't be that premeditated. Okay, maybe it's so regular with Atletico Madrid. A decision has been made before the game that we are going to try and con a referee. But is it more cheating than breaking financial fair play rules? Well, absolutely not. Absolutely, it's not. And also, the criticism, say, of Savage for the headbutt, is that cheating? Headbutting somebody isn't cheating. It is on camera. VAR can see it. If VAR didn't take action, that's not the fault of Savage. It's the fault of VAR.
He shouldn't be headbutting that.
He shouldn't be headbutting somebody, but it's not cheating.
Well, either way, you're getting caught up in pedantics here. I don't
There's nothing pedantic about it. It's how is it cheating? How is headbutting somebody cheating? There's a punishment within the game. There's a punishment within the game for exactly that. The fact it wasn't handed out.
There's also a punishment within the game for pushing somebody in the back in the penalty area that was ignored by both the referee and VAR late in the game. Another chance that could have happened. Now, does Atletico Madrid's messing hurt them in some ways? Without a referee being biased or anything like that, they're human beings, and if you're an asshole to them for 90 minutes, they're kind of just going to be more inclined to think, oh, that's just a dive, or so on and so forth. Whereas I think that was a penalty. I'm surprised VAR didn't look at it, but it doesn't always work in their favour either. So,
lads, you're full of it now. Get real. How are referees to manage this crap? Is this to now become the norm? Grow up and report responsibly, says Conor Clark. Listen, we're not saying in the Phoenix Park that this is how any team should behave, and I don't think it is by watching Atletico Madrid. But it's a very different scenario because there's cameras absolutely everywhere. So they're pushing it to the limit. Stefan Savic didn't give away a single free kick in either leg.
That's
not
amazing.
One. Not a single free kick. And he's been put up as the villain here because he tried to push Phil Foden. Phil Foden was trying to cheat the referee. He's rolling back onto the pitch when he's off the pitch injured.
Yeah, you won't hear BT talking about that.
Atletico's shithousery isn't as good or as successful as previously. Time for Simeone to bring it to the Premier League.
They won the Liga last year. They're currently Liga champions. I think people are kind of forgetting that a little bit. They're not having a good season at the moment. It wasn't the strongest La Liga of all time. The two powerhouses kind of collapsed in spectacular fashion. But at the same time, it's not as if Diego Simeone is living on past glories here.
Somebody has to bring him to the Premier League because the outrage levels, the Premier League won't be able to cope with the outrage levels. I think there is room for a savoury Easter egg. Solidified, compressed, Bisto gravy and 2 pepperoni bars. I wouldn't buy it myself, but I think it could make a profit, says Mike.
Jesus Christ. That sounds like hell.
What kind of sick individuals have we got out there?
That is outrageous.
That's unbelievable.
Where did the pepperami come from?
That's because it's stick-like. You need a kind of a bar equivalent.
Yeah. Pepperami is like dog food, isn't it?
We're not getting a sponsorship.
I certainly wouldn't like to endorse that if anybody from the company is listening.
Richie, let's get to the Nations League.
Yeah, the Republic of Ireland's opening game of the Nations League is now going to be away to Armenia on June the 4th. Stephen Kenny's side were supposed to open at home to Ukraine on that date, but the change has been made to facilitate Ukraine's rearranged World Cup playoff with Scotland. After the trip to Yerevan, Ireland will have home games with Ukraine and Scotland before a June 14th game with Ukraine to be played at a yet-to-be-determined venue.
Yeah, hopefully Ukraine are in a position by then to be able to play these games, which is the other side and other bridge that will have to be crossed between now and then. There is a lot of live football tonight. Conference League, Europa League, Richie?
Yeah, into the final 10 minutes in Eindhoven in the Conference League quarter-final, second leg there. It's now PSV 1, Leicester 1. Leicester have equalised in the past few minutes through James Maddison, 1-1 on aggregate there at the moment. Elsewhere in that competition, Bodo Glimt take a 2-1 lead to the Stadio Olimpico as they face Roma. Marseille hold a 2-1 advantage over PAOK going into their second leg in Thessaloniki, and it's 3-3 between Slavia Prague and Feyenoord before they even kick a ball tonight. In the Europa League, it's currently Atalanta 0, RB Leipzig 1 in Bergamo, so the Germans will go through 2-1 on aggregate as things stand. At 8, West Ham are hoping to reach a European semi-final for the first time in 46 years. They're tied at a goal apiece with Lyon going into their second leg of the Europa League quarter-final in France. Rangers entertain Braga tonight, needing to overcome a 1-0 first leg deficit, and Barcelona and Eintracht Frankfurt are tied at a goal apiece. Several thousand Frankfurt fans, by the way, have got tickets for that game at the Camp Nou, so it should be lively.
I'm not going to read out Owen's text because I can't endorse violence, but he is suggesting that Stefan Savic wouldn't take kindly to a Easter egg that is after 8.
After 8 or gravy.
Gravy. Well, certainly not gravy. It's an outrageous.
Solidified bisto and pepperami. How does a mind even concoct
I can't get my head around it.
Richie, Arthur's giving me daggers. We've got about 40 seconds, so run us through a couple of other stories.
Leinster making 3 changes for tomorrow's Heineken Champions Cup last 16 second leg with Connacht having been cleared to play. Jameson Gibson Park replaces Luke McGrath at scrum half. In the front row, Andrew Porter and Ronan Kelleher come in for Cian Healy and Dan Sheehan. One change as well for Connacht. Kieran Marmion is out. Quaylen Blade is in. That too at scrum half. And the GA and GPA have held what they've collectively described as a productive meeting this morning. Intercounty players have been engaged in a media blackout as they seek a return to pre-pandemic levels for their expenses. The bodies say a framework has been put in place for further talks, which will take place over the coming weeks.
Shane Lowry's flying in the golf?
He is, yeah, and so is Graham McDowell. Both are in the clubhouse on 5 under par, just 3 shots off the lead following respective opening rounds of 66 today at the RBC Heritage. Cameron Young, the American, is the clubhouse leader at the moment. He is in the clubhouse on 8 under par. He shot a 63 today, the American.
All right, Richie, great stuff as always.
Nice, and lads, enjoy your biscuit Rami eggs.
We will, and my after 8 egg. I will absolutely enjoy it. And what other
talking
eggs
before the break to a man who's been doing research on vegan diets for dogs and a bit of your
the best of news talk.
Whoa, that went a little bit crazy there.
I feel like much like this news round, Tom Dunn just coming in about what's happening on the show.
I think it could be an added little treat. Technical gremlins, I think they call that, where random people just come in talking in the middle of our show.
They have to say, Tom, in his 2 seconds there, has already spoken more sense than has been heard on Off the Ball so far.
Tiger Woods is coming, by the way, to the JP McManus Pro-Am at Adair Manor. And just to be clear, the Golf Weekly crew are free and available for the Pro-Am segment of that, Mick, just to get that out there good and early. You're going to be back
Tiger is
after
back
8.
Roadshow coming this summer.
Oh, that'll be glorious.
Golf Weekly venues near you.
That'll be glorious. You're going to be back after 8 o'clock with us, Mick, but up next is John Giles.
The Newsround
on Off the Ball.
With Gillette, for an effortless finish to your day. New Gillette Labs Razor with exfoliating bar.
Here's a commercial with a lot of T's and C's, but with a very simple message. Switch your motor insurance to AIG, receive a quote online at aig.ie